Hello and welcome to today's tutorial, Naming Cells and Data Validation. A cell range can be given a unique name for quick reference purposes. For example, the cell range A1 to A10 could be given the unique name Total. The defined name can then be used in a function to replace a cell reference, i.e. equals sum brackets total. To define a cell range, first highlight the range and then click on the Formulas tab. The Define Name tool is found on the Defined Names toolbar. Use the New Name dialog box to specify a name for the cell range. The comment box can be used to add additional information about the defined range. Note, if there are any spaces in the specified name, this will result in an error. When I select the defined cell range now, the cell range's name will appear in the name box. The name box can also be used to highlight the new defined range. Observe. The Name Manager tool can be used to edit or delete existing defined names or create new ones. Watch how I remove the previously defined name from the workbook. Data validation can be used to control the data entered into cells, helping to reduce errors. The data validation tools are found under the Data tab. Watch how I apply a data validation rule to the selected cells. The Settings tab is used to select the type of validation to apply to the highlighted cells. In this case, the validation rule will only allow whole numbers between two set values. The Input Message tab is used to help guide the user when inputting data. Use the Title and Input Message text boxes to add information to advise the user. Use the Error Alert tab to display an error message when invalid data is entered. Use the text boxes provided to guide the user if they enter incorrect data into a cell. Note that the Stop style will not allow the user to enter invalid data. Now, when a validated cell is selected, the help text is displayed to guide the user. Entering incorrect data will result in an error, stopping invalid data being entered. In this case, only a whole number between 2 and 10 is valid. Observe. Any other value is deemed as invalid data and will result in an error. To remove a validation rule, first highlight the cell range. Then open the Data Validation dialog box. Return to the Settings tab and click the Clear All button to remove all validation rules. The List validation rule can be used to narrow the user's input to particular entries. To create a list validation rule, first type the list of items into a worksheet. Watch how I create a list validation rule for the selected cell range. To set the validation rule, change the Allow drop-down box to List. Use the Source button to select the list of items from the worksheet. Like earlier, use the Input Message tab to help guide the user's input. Use the Error Alert to set a response if invalid data is entered into a cell. The information style will only notify the user that the data is invalid. Unlike the stop style, information style will allow non-valid data to be entered. In this case, I have created a list validation rule which will help the user to select a title. When I click into a validated cell now, I can use the drop-down box to select a list item. This time, when non-valid data is entered, however, only an information message is displayed. Notice, however, that the non-valid data can still be entered. Rows in a worksheet can be grouped together. Grouped rows can be collapsed out of sight. Watch how I group the selected rows together using the Group tool under the Data tab. Use the plus and minus symbols to expand and collapse the grouped rows. Use the Ungroup tool to ungroup the grouped rows.